start collaborating. In 2026, if you are still treating ChatGPT like a search engine or a basic chatbot, you are wasting the most powerful workspace in your creative arsenal. We have officially moved past the chat era and into the Canvas era, a persistent, side by side editing environment designed for high level architecture. However, 90% of users are still using it as a fancy text box. They are still shouting orders at an AI and hoping for a miracle, rather than using the tool as a digital twin for their projects. Today, we are dismantling the bad habits that turn your high end workspace into a digital junkyard. We are going to look at the vague prompt trap, the overprompting data dump, and the copy paste epidemic that is flooding the internet with identifiable AI slop. By the end of this video, you will stop using ChatGPT Canvas wrong and start using it like the senior level project architect it was designed to be. Here's the first mistake. The most common failure in 2026 is still the invisible context mistake. Most users open a canvas and type something like write a blog post about AI or fix this code. This is the equivalent of walking into a design studio and shouting make me a poster without saying what for, who it's for, or what style should be. In the canvas environment, the AI needs to understand the bounds of the workspace. If you don't provide a specific role, a clear objective, and a defined audience, the AI defaults to generic mode. A bad prompt looks like a simple command. A power prompt looks like a project brief. Instead of asking for a blog post, you should be asking the canvas to act as a technical SEO strategist for a US based SaaS company. Draft a 1,200 word deep dive into localized AI automation. Use a provocative but professional tone and prioritize data driven insights. This provides the guardrails that allow the canvas to generate a first draft that is 80% of the way there, rather than giving you 10% of a generic essay that you have to spend 2 hours fixing. If you don't give the AI a target, don't be surprised when it misses. The second biggest mistake is what I call front loading the failure. This happens when you dump a 3,000 word prompt containing every single thought, link, and requirement into the first message. In the 2026 Canvas workflow, this is actually counterproductive. When you give a model too many instructions at once, it undergoes instruction delusion. It tries to please every constraint and ends up doing none of them well. The correct way to use Canvas is iterative layering. You start with the skeleton, the structure, the headings, and the cure logic. Once the canvas has established the foundation, you then layer in the details. You highlight a specific section and say, now flesh out this case study with the data I provided earlier. This keeps the AI focused on one cognitive task at a time. By breaking your project into manageable pieces, you ensure that the quality remains high across the entire document. Overprompting creates a mess, iterative prompting creates a masterpiece. Many users treat a single canvas like an all-day junk drawer. They start a project for a Roblox UI design, then halfway through, they ask it to draft a legal contract for a different client in the same workspace. In 2026, the context window is massive, but it isn't clean. When you mix unrelated topics in a single Canvas session, you create contextual noise. The AI begins to pull tone, vocabulary, and logic from your previous unrelated task and bleeds them into your current work. To look like a pro, you must maintain project purity. Every unique project or client deserves its own dedicated canvas. This ensures that the neural memory of that specific workspace is calibrated perfectly to that task. If you are designing a thesis proposal, that workspace should only contain academic language and research data. If you are writing a gaming script, keep the tone consistent. By excluding your business emails, a clean workspace is a clear signal, and a clear signal produces professional grade output every single time. This is the lazy creator trap. Most people think and ask the AI for a draft, look at the screen, and think that looks good enough. Then they're done. They are completely ignoring the 2026 interactive editor tools built in the Canvas UI. The beauty of Canvas is that you don't have to rewrite the whole thing to change one paragraph. You should be using the highlight to edit feature constantly. If a sentence sounds too robotic, highlight it and click the rewrite or suggest edits shortcut. If a section is too long, use the length slider to compress it without losing the key points. If you aren't clicking those shortcuts or manually tweaking the side in the text panel, you aren't collaborating with the AI. You are just being its secretary. The AI provides the raw material, but you are the editor in chief. A pro uses the canvas as a living document that undergoes at least 3 rounds of refinement before it ever leaves the workspace. The final mistake, and the one that will get your content flagged or ignored, is the direct copy paste. Even with the best prompts, raw AI output has a digital fingerprint. It uses certain transitions, words, certain sentence structures, and a level of perfection that feels uncanny to a human reader. In 2026, the audience is trained to spot AI slop from a mile away. The zero editor system only works if you add the human polish. This means using the Add Final Polish tool in Canvas as a starting point, but then going in and adding your own specific anecdotes, your unique humor, and your personal voice. It means checking the citation the AI provided against a real world source. It means ensuring that the emotional core of the piece is something a machine couldn't have lived through. If you just copy the raw output, you are telling the world that you didn't care enough to read your own work. To look like a pro, you must treat the AI's final draft as your sub final draft. So, how do we fix this? We move to the architect workflow. You don't just talk to the canvas, you command the environment. So, first step is the blueprint. Open a canvas with a high context project brief. Define the role, the goal, and the constraints. Step 2, the foundation. Ask for an outline first. Do not let it write a single word of prose until you have approved the headings of the flow. Step 3, the framing. Flesh out each section one by one. Use the highlight feature to refine the tone as you go. Step 4, the finishing. Use the 2026 shortcuts, suggest edits for clarity, reading level for accessibility, and the final polish for grammar. Step 5, the signature. Read the document out loud and replace any robotic phrasing with your own natural speech. This is how you turn a 10-minute AI interaction into a professional grade asset that looks like it was produced by a high end agency. It's about moving from consumption to creation. In 2026, the tool is only as good as the person driving it. If you use it wrong, you get the slop. If you use it as an architect, you get a masterpiece. Thank you for watching this breakdown of how to stop using ChatGPT Canvas wrong. I've put my Architect's prompt library for 2026 in the description so you can start layering your projects right away. If this helped you realize that you've been using the world's most powerful workspace like a simple chat box, hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the tools that are actually changing the way we work. We'll see you in the next one as we continue to master the machines.